All right, and we are back with episode 2 of our franchise mode here at the Calgary Flames in EA Sports NHL 20. Welcome to episode number 2 here with the Calgary Flames. So yes, in episode 1, obviously we started up our franchise mode and we got the season underway here in the year of 2019-2020 as the Calgary Flames look to defend the Pacific Division and the Western Conference in the regular season and obviously get back to the Stanley Cup playoffs and win that elusive Stanley Cup. So yes, welcome to episode 2 here with our franchise mode Calgary Flames. As you can see here, we finished off, like I said, the month of October in episode 1. We'll just take a quick look here at how we finished off. So we finished off with a 5-2 win here against the Nashville Predators, actually on a 4-game winning streak here for the Calgary Flames. We also sit first place in the Pacific Division after 1 month. You can see 15 games played here, 23 points for the Calgary Flames. That's good enough for not only first in the Pacific and the West, but we do lead the NHL in that category. Again, only 15 games into the season. It's early into the 2019-2020 season, but the Calgary Flames are sitting up top with an 11-3-1 record. So that's exactly where we projected to be. Obviously, in episode 1, we talked a little bit about becoming a legit Stanley Cup contender this season and having a 3-year window to win the Stanley Cup. Now, so obviously that's our goal. Again, coming off of last season, which we finished first place in the Western Conference, second overall in the entire NHL, runner-up for the President's Trophy, only to the incredible Tampa Bay Lightning last year. We had an incredible year last year, so the Flames looking to build off that and obviously have a little bit more success when it comes to April. That's obviously the focus for the Flames. It's not so much what we do in the regular season. We know we are a good team. We know we can do some damage in the regular season, but we want to prove now after so many years of getting to the playoffs on and off. We want to get back to the playoffs consistently, but more importantly, once we get to the playoffs, we want to make sure that we are, in fact, going a length of distance and that we are winning some hockey games and series. So let's get going here with our franchise mode episode number 2. Let's see how much simming we can get done here in this episode. Let's just quickly look before we get started at how some of our players are doing ahead of this episode 2. Sorry, ahead of the rest of the season here. So you can see Johnny Gaudreau does lead us in points, obviously. No big surprise there, like he does every year. 20 points through 15 games, another incredible year for Johnny Hockey here for the Flames. That's why he's our superstar elite franchise player. 20 goals there, 12 goals, 20 points in 15 games. Sean Monahan, second, obviously, to Gaudreau. Again, that's not a surprise either. Every year, it's like Gaudreau at the top, Monahan below him. What is a bit of a surprise here is the fact that he only has 4 goals. Sean Monahan, usually a guy that is good for 30 goals a season. I don't know. Can we look at his career stats here? I forget how we do this here in this new game. I don't know if you look at. I don't know. I don't know if you can see his career stats here. But Sean Monahan, usually a consistent 30-goal scorer for our team. So 4 goals in 15 games, a little bit of a slow start in that department. He will pick it up. Sam Bennett coming in there, 12 points in 15 games, playing really well on that third line. Bennett, obviously, so much hype from being a 4th overall draft pick back in 2014, I believe it was. Hasn't done a lot, but so far he's having a pretty good season for the Flames. Then you can see guys like Backlund, Hamonic coming in there with 11 points. Gio, who is currently injured, has 9 points through 11 games, so not too bad for Giordano. Andrew Mangiapane's been really good for us this season. Has 7 goals so far in 15 games in bottom 6 row. Elias Lindholm has yet to find the back of the net. That's a little surprising. He has been playing on the top line. Now, he only has played 10 games, where the rest of the team has played 15 games. The ones that haven't been injured, Elias Lindholm was injured there for a little period of time, but still, the fact that he hasn't found the back of the net is almost just as surprising as the fact that Sean Monahan has 4 goals. Jankowski has had a bit of a hot start as well. 6 points in 15 games, not bad for a third liner. Quine's been excellent as well through 8 games. Matthew Tkachuk, maybe the biggest surprise, only 5 points and 1 goal. This is one of our franchise players here, probably our third best forward behind Gaudreau and Monahan. So a bit of a surprise. Tkachuk has had a slow start. So if there is some, I'm trying to find the right word here. If there is some flaws so far in our season, you could say it is the fact that Matthew Tkachuk is not performing to maybe what we want him to be, especially being the highest paid player on our team. You can see Brody Hannafin. Anderson there, 4 points. Expected a little bit more offense out of Rasmus Anderson, but again, playing in a bottom six role as well, or a bottom six pairing role. Valimaki, no surprise that Lucci's only down there 2 points as well. And I just quickly want to look at David Riddick here through the first month of October. We talked about in the last episode about the goaltending. We had a huge segment on the goaltending there, if you will, on how we went and made David Riddick a legitimate starter in this league because he is proven to be a starter in the NHL. And he's slowly starting to get his name heard around the NHL. In real life, that he is a legitimate starter. So we obviously, last episode, I talked about how we bumped him up to an 84 from an 82 and made him a starter. And he has had a good start to the season for us as expected. This is exactly what, this is realistic. This is exactly what David Riddick should be doing in this game because this is the way he plays in real life. He is off to an 8-3-0 start, 9-3-8, 1-8-0 goals against. A really good start for David Riddick. Again, small sample size, only 12 games, but that's what you like to see so far. In fact, our goaltending has been good all around. Cam Talbot's come in 5 games, 3-0-1 start for Cam Talbot. So he has lost a game in a shootout or overtime, but not in regulation. So you can see a pretty good start there for Cam Talbot. Again, small sample size, only 5 games, but a good start with a 9.34 save percentage. A little bit surprised by that because I didn't think Cam Talbot was going to be as good for us. I thought we would have a solid starter in David Riddick, but I didn't know if we would have a good backup in Cam Talbot. Thought maybe we would have to take a look at what's possibly out there in the trade market. Now, last episode as well, we did make our first transaction of our franchise mode here with the Calgary Flames, and that was sending goaltender John Gillies from our American League team off to the Minnesota Wild. We got a 5th-round pick back for John Gillies in this one. So I'm just gonna, as I'm talking here, I'm just gonna continue to sim so we can get some simming going here. So a goal there by Johnny Gaudreau, again staying red hot for us. A goal from Pierre-Luc Dubois and Nick Foligno for them. And then we do tie it up in the second. Johnny Gaudreau again. This guy is on fire. Hopefully he can have a really good season here for us. 2-2, third period. What happens here in the third? And they get the 3-2 win. Brandon Dubinsky beats David Riddick with about 5 minutes, 24 seconds left. And the Calgary Flames drop this one in regulation, and that ends our 4-game winning streak as well. So not the way we probably want to start off the month of November, but hey, we'll take it. David Riddick, 906. Not too bad for him, but 2-goal night there for Johnny Gaudreau. So we're just going to, again, keep simming here. This is a back-to-back game against the Washington Capitals, and Mark Giordano is back. So we're going to edit lines here. Quickly put Gio in, and I'm going to put Cam Talbot in for the back-to-back as well. So we'll probably take out Michael Stone again. Stone hasn't been too bad in 3 games. You can see a plus, or 5 games, excuse me, a +3 and 3 assists. So not too bad, but again, I talked about in the last episode a little bit about our defense, how we are stacked for the future in the defensive department. We have quite a bit of, so I'm just going to put Gio back up there, Hannafin back with Hamonic, and Valimaki back with Anderson. But I talked a little bit about in the last episode how we are stacked for the future. We do have a nice core going forward with Noah Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, Juuso Valimaki, and then, of course, Oliver Shillington, who's down in the American League. So we have a potential top 4 in those 4 players there. So, yeah, we don't really have to worry about our defense too much. Oh, yeah, what I was trying to say is that's why we're giving guys like Valimaki and Anderson and Hannafin the ice time over a guy like Stone, because we obviously want to grow them. So first period here against the Washington Capitals. We are in D.C., and we got a goal from Alan Quine. Again, good to see. That's a power play goal. I'm not sure why he's on the power play still. That's probably because I forgot to take him off since Lindholm came back. So I should probably do that at some point. But hey, Quine got a goal. That could also be why Lindholm does not have a goal yet this season. I did take him off the power play when he got injured. Just forgot to put it back on. So Quine's got the goal. TJ Oshie has the goal. Second period here. Flames and Caps, they get 2. We get 1. Johnny Gaudreau is just unbelievably on fire here. Just on a hot streak, one of those hot streaks where he goes through the Eastern Conference and just rips it up. We've seen him do that before on road trips through the East. Good to see Gaudreau staying hot there. Ovechkin scores, Kuznetsov scores. It is 3-2 Caps. Third period, do we have a comeback? We don't. They get 3 goals. Jake Verana there, Alex Ovechkin, and TJ Oshie. Yeah, so that's not what you like to see. A 6 spot put up on Cam Talbot and the Flames. Again, back-to-back nights, but I forgot to look at the stats there. But still, you don't want to see that. So we'll put Riddick back in. Again, not sure what the numbers were for Cam Talbot, but 6 goals allowed. I don't think they were anything spectacular. It's not like I'm guessing, Talbot didn't face like 60 shots, whereas, it wasn't his fault. 6 goals allowed. That's generally on the goaltender as much as it is on the other players as well. So 11-5-1. We've got off to a bit of a slow start here to start the month. Back-to-back losses here to start the month. Let's see if we can turn it around against a division rival here in the Arizona Coyotes. 4-8-2 now. Sorry, are the Arizona Coyotes. We're still sitting atop the Pacific, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But let's see how many games here we can get through in this episode. So we're just going to keep simming away here. So first period against the Coyotes, 1-1 Monahan, and they get one from, is that Bo Bennett? I believe that's Bo Bennett. Second period, again, they get 2, we get 1. Johnny Gaudreau is that like 4 games in a row Johnny Gaudreau has scored now, I think. Nick Schmaltz and Christian Dvorak. With the goals for the Coyotes. So again, we're playing from behind for what seems like, I don't know, second or third game in a row. Can we come back? Calgary Flames, please. No. Wow. Another 6 spot for back-to-back games here as the Coyotes pull away in this one. So not good at all. Just going to see, look at the stats from this one because we put Riddick back in net. But not sure what's going on here. 2-point night for Monahan, Gaudreau, Giordano. In terms of plus-minus, -3 for the third pairing there. So might switch that around there. Mangiapane, Quine, that line with Derek Ryan as well in the minuses as well. So I might make a couple line changes here. And I just want to quickly take a look at Riddick. Not a good night there for David Riddick. Did face 36 shots, but still not a good night for David Riddick. So I'm going to leave Riddick in to bounce back, especially because Cam Talbot wasn't coming off a good game himself either. This fourth line struggled a little bit, although Ryan is on the third line. Bennett's been playing well. We'll keep Bennett there. Lucci. Let's put Mangiapane up there. We'll put Lucci on the fourth line. Give Mangiapane a little bit of time up there. And then I just want to quickly go here to defense. And Valimaki, Anderson struggling. But what I'm just going to do is just kind of even out our second and third pairing here. Put Valimaki with Travis Hamonic. That stays at +3 there for the line chemistry. And we'll put Hanifin down here with Rasmus Anderson. Or we can even do it the other way around. Why don't we do that? Why don't we put Hanifin up there with Anderson and Hamonic down there with Valimaki? Again, just a quick line change. Nothing major here. Just to switch it up back to three losses in a row, and back-to-back 6 spots put up against us. And then quickly here, I'm just going to take Alan Quine off of the power play. Might get Elias Lindholm back in there. We need to get Lindholm going. Like I said, good to see Quine there and contributing on the PP. But Lindholm is one of our core pieces. We want to make sure he gets going. So, few lineup changes here as we face the New Jersey Devils. Again, 3 losses in a row to start this episode, and 2 of them in which we allow 6 goals apiece. So, let's see if we can switch things up here a little bit because we are, for the first time this season, we are facing a little bit of adversity here as we are struggling a little bit. First period, and a goal by Rasmus Anderson, so we move him up on the second pairing. He gets a goal. Nice to see there from Rasmus. 1-0 Flames after 1, second period, and they tie it up. It's Calgary native Taylor Hall beating David Riddick. And third period, do we pull away? Nothing, so we do get a point. Overtime, can we get a much needed extra point right now? Nothing. How about in the shootout? And no, they get it. It's PK Subban with the shootout winner. I highly doubt that. I don't think Subban's up near the top of the shootout list. We won't look at much there. 2-1. Probably a half decent night there for Riddick bouncing back after that 6-3 loss against the Coyotes. A little. Would like to get a little bit more offense from that game as well. St. Louis comes in, the defending champs. They're 8-1, so they're about 500 on the season. Let's get this game in against them. We're not going to make any lineup changes. Coming off that shootout loss there against the Devils. So first period here for the Calgary Flames and the Blues. They get the first one. Robert Brotuzzo, beating David Riddick 1-0. Second period, nothing. Come on, Flames. Our offense has been really quiet, and we get 3, they get 2, so it's evened up after regulation. Lindholm getting his first goal of the season. Good to see that, beating Binghamton. Ryan and Mangiapane staying hot as well. Just looking here. Yeah, so we're going to overtime. They've been out shooting us in this one. We need this extra point. This is against a Western Conference team, but we do need this extra point. We have struggled to get a lot of points here in the last few games. So Calgary Flames, nothing. And for the second straight game, it's a shootout. Come on, Flames. Yes, this time we do get the extra point, and it's, again, Juuso Valimaki, the shootout. Again, highly doubt that. I don't know where they're getting the shootout, PK Subban, and then Juuso Valimaki, two defensemen. At least Subban's an offensive defenseman. I mean, I guess Valimaki is too, but I just couldn't see a situation in which Valimaki would be put in the shootout and scoring the winner. 2 points there for Derek Ryan. Not too bad of a night. The top line did struggle slightly, despite Monahan and Gaudreau and Lindholm each picking up a point. And Lindholm, like I said, picking up his first goal of the season. So that's why we had to put him back there on the power play and just get him back to his usual ice time. Start getting him going because he is one of our core pieces. And then David Riddick having a .930 save percentage in that one. So back-to-back pretty good games there for Riddick after a pretty poor game there against the Coyotes. And we've got another game up against the Coyotes in which we'll probably keep him in net and then give Talbot the Vegas game here, depending on what happens here in this Dallas game. But let's just keep rolling through the month of November here. Flames and the Dallas Stars here. First period, 2-1 Calgary, 2 goals from Johnny Gaudreau. This guy is unbelievable. He's on fire this season. This could be a record-breaking year for Johnny Gaudreau, who's coming off a 99-point season last year, which was a career year for him. He could be having another career year yet again. And there's the hat trick. As we're talking about Johnny himself, there is the hat trick for Johnny Gaudreau. Tyler Seguin gets one on the power play, but a goal by Johnny Gaudreau, and then Mark Jankowski is good enough to give us a 4-2 win over the Dallas Stars. But a hat trick performance. I believe that's the first hat trick of the season for Johnny Gaudreau. Hopefully the first of many 3 points there for Elias Lindholm. So good. Again, good to see Lindholm getting going here. Sean Monahan picking up 2 points. That top line back to where they need to be for us. And then another good night there for Cam Talbot, for David Riddick, excuse me. So now we're getting back into the groove of what we were doing there in episode 1 after a poor start here in episode 2. So let's get back up to this game against the Coyotes again, 8-9-2. Not too great of a season so far for the Coyotes. We should not have lost 6-2 to them. But, you know, every team's going to have those losses. Just want to quickly clear here. 28 points is good enough for first in the West. But you can see we're now tied with Ottawa. Are you kidding me, Ottawa? What is wrong with EA Sports? How is Ottawa tied for first place in the NHL with us? That is just... Oh, I don't even know what to say. All right, let's get this game going with the Coyotes. Ottawa. All right, first period, Flames and Yotes. They get one from Ors. I don't even know how to say that. Second period. Why is Cam Talbot in net? Okay, they put Talbot in net for this one. I guess Rigg's getting the Vegas game. Mangiapane, Lindholm scoring, so that's what we need to see. The second goal of the season for Elias Lindholm. Third period, they do tie it up. We're going to overtime. Oliver Ekman-Larsson tying it up. We need this divisional point. Overtime, and it looks like we do get it from Sean Monahan again. Monahan, we need to see a lot more scoring out of him and Lindholm both, but especially Monahan. Again, a guy that can put up about 30 goals a season, quietly one of the best 30-goal scorers in the NHL. That just does not get enough credit. So good to see there from Sean Monahan getting the overtime winner. He's usually pretty money when it comes to the overtime and game-winning goals as well. Cam Talbot comes in. Not a bad night for Talbot, 9-3-1. Good to get him back, I guess, in action. He's coming off, his last game was also a 6-2 loss, I believe it was, as well. I forget against who, just before Riddick had that against the Coyotes. I kind of wanted Riddick to get that game against the against the Arizona Coyotes to redeem himself. But again, it's just a video game. It doesn't really matter. Goaltending, let's get Riddick back in here, please, for this Vegas game. And, yeah, we got another divisional game here, so just want to look where Vegas is in the standings. They sit 4th in our division, 27 points, so they sit in a wild card spot, but they're only 3 points back of us, because look at that now. We are sitting at 30 points through 22 games, but you can see both Anaheim and Edmonton tied at 28 points, and then Vegas coming in at 27, and then there's a slight gap there between Vegas and San Jose, and then Vancouver and onward. But yeah, you can see the other teams are starting to catch up to us here in our division. In the West, same thing as well with Winnipeg and Chicago. So this is why the points matter. I mean, we did have a nice lead there after episode 1, kind of, but we we went on a bit of a losing streak, and now teams are starting to catch up to us. So, and now we're starting to get into a little bit more of the grind of the season. We're about halfway through the month of November as well. So we are starting to get into a little bit. 22 games so far is starting to get a better sample than what we've had so far. So we're starting to see what teams are made of a little bit more now that we are getting a more of a sample size to work with here. So first period against the Vegas Golden Knights. We have never won in Vegas. Mangiapane scores. They get one from the former Flame Derek England and Shea Theodore. Second period, we get one. They get one. Max Pacioretty and Mark Jankowski. Can we please pull away here in the third period? And we do. 2 huge goals. Matthew Tkachuk, where have you been? And Michael Backlund. So 2 goals from that second line. But yes, I forgot about Tkachuk. That was the one guy who is struggling mightily for us so far, and it's good to see him finally get another goal. We got to get more offense out of Tkachuk somehow. He is a star player for us. We need to see more out of Matthew Tkachuk, Michael Backlund as well. 8-9-3 for what? Why was Cam Talbot playing yet again? I put Riddick back in net. What the hell is going on? Okay, unbelievable. So Cam Talbot just played back-to-back games. Even with the auto rotation goalie on, I manually put Riddick back in it. They should not be, I don't know. This is, I hate this game. Okay, let's get Riddick back in net, please. For once. Maybe I have to wait till I sim up to the date. I don't know why. I'll go in the settings after and try and take auto rotation off. The only thing that I want auto rotation on in the American League, I don't know if there's an option where you can, because let's go to the American League here for a second. We haven't looked at our American League, how our team's doing down here. Just really quick look. We are down near the bottom of the standings, are the Stockton Heat. But I just want to look here at, I guess I could have went to stats. Just look at how our team is doing down here. I just want to see how Dylan Dubé's doing. Just 5 points through 15 games at a -6. I don't think it's going to be a good season for us down here in the American League, but you'd like to see some of your players doing good. Again, just 6 points there for Oliver Shillington and a -1. But I want to look at our goaltending. How's Zagadulin doing? He's played 11 games, 8-9-8, so not as good of a start for Zagadulin as I was hoping. And what about Parsons? 8-8-6, yeah. So our goaltending's not getting it done down there. But again, they're young, they're growing. Both Parsons is only 22, Zagadulin is 24. Still a little bit. I want to see a little bit more improvement out of Zagadulin this season because he is starting to enter that point where he could be NHL caliber by technically as early as next season. I don't think he's obviously going to be, but he could be. So you see goalies coming in now at 24, 25 years of age. I know they don't hit prime till about 26, 27, but you start to see goalies starting to come in. So, yeah, so like to see a little bit more out of Zagadulin this season, especially. If Parsons struggles, that's one thing, but I don't want to see Zagadulin struggle too much. And we did trade away John Gillies in the American League. That might have hurt our team a little bit, but what are you going to do? We only had so many spots for goalies. So we have the Avalanche again here. It's 2-0 after 1. McKinnon and Calvert, a second period. We do get a goal back. Michael Frolik. Can we tie this one up and possibly take the lead in the third? Come on, Flames. We do get a few, but they get too many more. So Goudreau and Bennett, not good enough for the win. So back to struggling a little bit here. 2.9 there for Michael Backlund. Brody, Lucci, Janko. Hannafin struggling a little bit as well. 8-7-1 as we put Reddick back in. So, don't like to see that. Who do we have next? St. Louis again. No, we'll leave Reddick in net. We will leave Riddick in net, and that is that's just one loss. I'm just thinking, you know what? No, I was going to make some lineup changes, but 11-9-1 are the St. Louis Blues. Let's just try and keep rolling here. Let's just keep getting some games going here. So St. Louis. Once again, this time we're in St. Louis. So first period, nothing. Second period, we get to Tkachuk. There we go. That's what we want to see. More consistency out of you and Brody. Ryan O'Reilly scored for them. Come on, hold on for the third. And we do. We put up 3 more goals. So Johnny Gaudreau again, red hot. I'm not worried about Johnny. He is just on fire this season. Backlund also adding a goal as well. And 3-point night there for, was that Johnny or I'm not sure. 9-7-1, much better night there for Riddick. 3-point night for who? for Backlund, sorry. Monahan 2, Lindholm 2, Goudreau 2, Froley get on board. So good to see that. Offense is picking up a little bit, and like I said, it's good to see Tkachuk starting to find the back of the net a little bit. It was good to see Lindholm putting up points, even though he's not finding the net as much as we like. Same with Sean Monahan. They're still getting the points at the end of the day, and biggest thing is good to see Tkachuk going because we need that guy going. So we got Philly here coming off of a win. I just want to look where we sit now. So 34 points. You can see the Golden Knights back 3 points of us there at 31. So that game against them was pretty big. Gave us a little bit of a separation from them. Anaheim and Edmonton in there with 30 points as well. And then there's a nice gap there between Edmonton and San Jose. So just always taking a look at those standings in the Pacific Division as we continue on here. We are up against the end of the month here of November. We got the Flyers. So first period in Philly. This would be a good game for Johnny to score. It's his hometown. Okay, Noah Hannafin gets on the board for the Flames, 1-0 after 1. There's Mark Giordano. Good to see him get on the board again. He hasn't really done too much since coming back from that injury, but good to see him back on the board here. 2-0 after 40. Third period, and Alan Quine. I was hoping that'd be Johnny Gaudreau, but hey, we'll take the 3-0 shutout over the Flyers, obviously. And one night that Johnny doesn't score is against his hometown team, but with lots of family and friends in attendance, but that's okay. He's got, 34 points in 26 games, 22 goals already for Johnny Gaudreau. Not worried about him at all. So amateur scout calling, thinks that this will be a good year or something like that. I don't know. We got our scouts doing their jobs. I believe we do. I think we assigned our scouts. One thing we didn't do in this in episode 1 or so far in this franchise mode is look at the coaching. It's new this year. I'm not going to worry about it until we have to fire our coach, to be honest. They just give us a coach and some assistants, and we're just going to roll with that. If we have to fire a coach, then we'll go look at the other coaches that are out there and maybe pick a coach that pick a coach with the style and that we want. But right now, I'm just not going to worry about it. So 2-2 after 40 here in Pittsburgh. Gaudreau and Hannafin have the goals for us. Do we win here in the third period? It's tied. It's 4-4 after 60 minutes. Mangiapane Backlund adding there, as well as Ashton Reese and Malkin for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can we get the overtime winner? We've already got 1 point. We need that second. Nothing. How about the shootout winner? No, they get it. Justin Schultz, the former Edmonton Oiler. So, hey, we'll take 1 point here in Pittsburgh. You like to get both points, obviously. But, again, it's an Eastern Conference team. We're not giving up too much, but would have liked to seen that extra point. Sorry. Hannafin and Backlund with 2-point nights. And then looking here at Rick, 8-9-2. So, Rick's been a little bit streaky. He's had some really good nights, some slightly poor nights, but we'll just continue to monitor that. We'll probably get Talbot back into a game here pretty soon. But again, that's points in 3 straight games on that screen. So we'll just continue to roll with what we've got. Buffalo. Going to Buffalo. They're about 500, 11 and 2. Are the Buffalo Sabres. So we'll continue to roll here. Again, Ottawa's still at the top of their standings. That's insane. I don't know what's going on in Ottawa. The other thing that's new in this game is when there is massive trades, it will show us on the screen. So obviously, it's not trade season. There hasn't been any big trades so far through 2 episodes. But when there is big trades, we'll get to see it on this screen. So that's going to be fun to watch to see if teams are making some big splashes out there. So we get 2 goals in this hockey game from Johnny Gaudreau, but we do end up losing the one here in Buffalo, 4-2. Riddick was in net, so I think I'll put Talbot in net for the next one. Again, the top line doing all the damage in this one off the stick of Gaudreau, and 8-7-9 for David Riddick. So we will go back with Cam Talbot as Riddick is struggling a little bit. We talked about in the last episode that look who we have. We have the Ottawa Senators, 16-6-3. Oh my goodness. We will put Talbot in net, even though this is one of the top teams in the league, sitting with 35 points. What are we at? Are they ahead of us? 37, so they're just back of us. No, now they're tied with us. Sorry, I didn't sim up to the game. So they are tied. This is the battle of the 2 top teams in the NHL. I did not think I would ever say this, but this is a battle of the top 2 teams in the NHL. Ottawa versus Calgary. This could be a Stanley Cup final preview. Like, that's insane to think of. I kind of want to put Talbot in, but at the same time, this is you know what? Let's leave Riddick in. This is the top team in the NHL, tied with us. let's leave Riddick in. He's coming off a poor night, but let's give him a chance here to rebound. I just want to see how we stack up against the other top team in the league out of the Eastern Conference. And again, how is it Ottawa? With the team that they have, this does not make sense. I want to look at their team after this. So first period against Ottawa, that is a goal from TJ Brody. Second period, that is a goal from Sean Monahan. They get one as well. Do we hang on in the third? They tie it up. My goodness, they're not going away. Michael Backlund scores, but they get one from JJ Pajot and DeMello. So do we get the overtime winner again? Doesn't matter about that point going to Ottawa. Can we just get that extra point ourselves? Nothing. We're going to a lot of shootouts this year, and I'm not a fan of the shootouts. Shootout here, Flames. They get it. Mikkel Bodker. This is an incredible Ottawa team. They are not giving up. They are fighters. So yeah, I wonder if we'll see them in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, it's a long ways away, but you never know. Backlund, Brody, Monahan, 2-point nights there for the Flames. 909, a little bit better from David Riddick, but that is a few losses in a row. I think I'm going to put Talbot back in for the one against Buffalo. That's 3 losses in a row for David Riddick as well. So that's insane. I want to look at Ottawa's roster quickly here. I do want to get through so much simming in this one, but I just want to quickly look at their lines and what they got here. So let me take a drink here for a second. All right, let's just quickly look at Ottawa's lines here. Because there's just some things that just make absolutely no sense in this game, and this is one of them. How the fact a team like Ottawa, who's probably projected to be dead last this year, a good chance of it, is one of the best teams in the league, and they probably are now because they just beat us. So look at this. What? What? Look at the overalls on all of these players. I don't even have to go through this. Just look at the overalls. Like Kachuk, 82. Artem Anisimov, 81. Connor Brown, 80. That's barely a third line or a second line on any given team. That's like a so-so third line. Like, what the hell? I mean, I know Kachuk's going to be a good player for a long time for them, but he's still so young, and he's only an 82 in this game. And then look at their second line. Duclair, Pajot, Ryan. Like, this is like another borderline second line, probably a third line. And then this is another third line. Ennis, White, Bodker. And then they got Ryan Callahan in this game with Batherson and Formenton. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But so their fourth line is a fourth line. But then they got 3 third lines. Like, with Kachuk, who's probably like the only second line caliber player. Like, Kachuk is their best player at 82. What the hell is going on? The defensive department does not get much better for them. Thomas Chabot is an elite defenseman at 86. What is he listed as? A top 4? Yeah, he's a top 4 defenseman. He's not even a top 2 defenseman yet, but he will be one day. He's got elite potential, but he's a top 4 defenseman. Nikita Zaitsev is probably a bottom 6 at best. They're listing him as a top 4, but at 82. Ron Hazy is obviously a bottom 6 or a top 6. Dylan DeMello is another 5 or 6 defenseman. And then these guys are like they could be almost AHL defensemen. Like, this is insane. How is this team even doing good? And then, of course, they got Craig Anderson at 83 and Andres Nielsen at 70. Like, what? Like, I'm just baffled by how EA Sports, how they're like, how they work. Like, how does a team, and I mean, I'm not going to go through all these teams, but I mean, let's go to some of the other divisions. Like, I mean, the Blue Jackets maybe shouldn't be as high. Same with maybe New Jersey. Edmonton is now above us. They shouldn't be as high. Anaheim shouldn't be up there. Like, you look at the Sharks, probably should be higher. And then Chicago obviously shouldn't be up there. Colorado should be a lot higher than dead last in there. So I don't know. This is not realistic. I mean, we're not that far into franchise mode where things have changed, but yeah, that's that. I don't know what to say. The way that other teams are simming, it's like the bad teams are all doing good and the good teams are all doing bad. So I don't even know what to say. We're just going to worry about ourselves in this game. Like I said, we're going to worry about the Calgary Flames, and obviously we are where we're probably supposed to be, where people probably projected Calgary to be coming off our season last year. Teams like Ottawa coming off the season they had last year, I wouldn't exactly project them to be where they are. Same with Edmonton. But hey, you never know. So we'll just worry about ourselves in this game. Just pretend it's kind of like a different universe. So 2-0 after 1 period here in Buffalo. We do have Talbot back in. I forgot to mention Bennett and Quine there for us. They get 2. We get 1 from Derek Ryan. Can we hang on for the third? We need points here, and we finally do get a win. So that is good to see. I think it was 3 or 4 losses in a row. 3 losses, I think it was. We did get a point out of 1 of them, but we do need to start putting in the points here. Lindholm, Monahan, Gaudreau, not a good night for the top line, but they've had a lot of good nights, so we'll obviously just ignore that. 9-3-1 for Cam Talbot, so a better night for him, and he does get us a win. So you know what? I think we will keep Talbot in net until he falters a little bit here. We do have the Los Angeles Kings coming up here. So a big divisional game. So Central Scouting, yeah. We'll go, and we got a back-to-back nights here, so Riddick will get one of these games against Colorado or Arizona, but let's roll with this game here. So is Edmonton still ahead of us? I forgot to check. Either way, we just need to, again, worry about what we can control right now, and that's just winning games. All right, first period against LA here. Flames and Kings, Giordano and Elias Lindholm. Second period, Derek Ryan, Mark Jankowski. They do get 1 from Toffoli. Do we hang on? We do. And it is a goal from Juuso Välimäki. Again, good to see with Välimäki's growth there as he continues to put up some points. And just looking at another good night for Talbot. So 9-6-3. We'll leave Cam Talbot in. Again, we projected Riddick to be our number 1 this season, but maybe we have to get back to the point where we have a tandem. I just didn't think Talbot would be playing as well as he has so far this season. He's definitely had his poor nights, but he's had a lot more good nights than he has poor nights, and I thought it would be the other way around. But if we do have to go with a tandem this year, or if we have to go looking for another goalie in trade deadline, then we will do just that. Again, I had a big spiel there in episode 1 about our goaltending and it going forward. So 1-0 after 1 period of play here in Colorado for Gabriel Landeskog and the Colorado Avalanche. Second period looks like this, a goal by Hanifin and Mangiapane, but they get 1 from Calvert and Eric Johnson. Can we please come back here in the third period? We need these points. We don't. Ian Cole, Nathan McKinnon. So we've had trouble with the Avalanche this year. Again, no surprise considering the way the playoffs went last year with them. They're just a team that gives us a lot of trouble. Just hope we don't face them in the playoffs this year. 2 points there from Michael Backlund. Who struggled here tonight? Again, Rasmus Anderson struggled a little bit. I might bump Anderson back down. I think he's still in that second pairing. And then the top line, another night where they struggled as well. So that's 2 back-to-back nights. And Riddick came in this game. Like, oh my goodness, I don't even know. I leave Talbot in and Riddick comes back in. So, oh my. So that was not a good night for. We'll obviously put Talbot in for this Arizona game. But yeah, back-to-back nights where the top line struggled a little bit. So that's not good to see. Just looking at what we got here. No, we'll leave that as is. What we will do is put Hanifin back down here. Välimäki, Hanifin. I'll leave Hamnick back up there. Yeah, let's put Cam Talbot back in for obviously this Arizona game. I'm just going to have to check before each game to make sure the right goalie's in. Because like I said, I want to leave auto rotation on for the American League. Because I want to make sure we are evenly getting Parsons and Zagadulin the amount of starts to grow them both equally. But at the same time, in the NHL, I want to kind of do my own thing with the goaltending. So we got the Coyotes again, and it's, again, Dvorak and Bo Bennett. 2-0 Yotes. 3-0 Yotes with Oliver Ekman Larson. We tie it up. Nice. Kachuk and Brody. Big third period there by the Calgary Flames to tie this one up. That's what we obviously needed. So we do have a 3-3 tie here with the Coyotes, and overtime, we need this extra point shootout. Yes, we get it. So we do give up a point to the Coyotes, a divisional foe, but Michael Frolik gets a goal for us in the shootout, and the Calgary Flames prevail in this one. So a little bit of a better night here for the Flames. Again, Hanifin and Hamnick struggling now, so I just put them back together, and they struggled. Again, we'll just kind of leave it as is. So I put Talbot back in net, and they had to pull him and put Riddick in net. So again, not sure why they're pulling him after just 14 minutes. He was doing fine, again, unless it's an in-game injury. We've had a couple of those in episode 1, and it doesn't look like it's a major injury. So I don't know where to go right now with our goaltending. We'll leave Talbot in because Riddick's come in and he hasn't played so well the last few games. He's had a bit of a hiccup the last few games. So we have the Toronto Maple Leafs here. Let's leave Cam Talbot in for this one. And then we are in December. Sorry, we're about halfway through December now. We've pulled into December. We'll maybe reevaluate our goaltending and our team overall at the end of December, because there shouldn't be too many games left. We're on the 12th, and then there should be a Christmas break coming up as well. So we'll see what we got here. So Toronto Maple Leafs, you can see we now sit second in our division, 2 points back of the Edmonton Oilers. Could be a battle of Alberta for top spot in the Pacific this year. That should make things interesting as well, having the Oilers back up there with us, just like the 80s. Where is Toronto? Just want to look here quickly. Toronto is sitting 7th in their division, tied actually with Montreal for dead last. So again, I just don't know how realistic these other teams simming are, because you got Boston probably where they belong, Tampa and Florida up there as well, but Ottawa should not be tied with Boston for top spots in their division, and Toronto probably should be a lot higher than that. Even Montreal should be higher than that, ahead of teams like Detroit and Buffalo. Like seriously. Yeah, so they sit at 46 points. Ottawa and Boston, we sit 44. But Toronto is down there at, 28, or I forget what I said, something like that. So let's sim this game here against the Maple Leafs. Wow, I don't even know what to say. All right, 6-2 loss here. It's just like first period in my head and 3 goals. Second period, 3 goals. So yeah, not a good night there, obviously, for the Flames. Really coughing one up here against the Maple Leafs. Alan Quine, a pretty poor night. -3. Brody, -2. Jankowski, Hamnick. Might have to make some line changes there. We did put Cam Talbot in, and he did not have a good night at 8-1-8. This is tough. We do have an injury now, so this will factor in a little bit. Hamnick will be injured till about the 21st, so we do need to edit our lines here. What we will do is, we'll pump up Rasmus Anderson. We'll put Michael Stone down here. And obviously, I'm comfortable putting Michael Stone, who is a defensive defenseman in all of Hamnick's spots. So that means Stone will go on the PK. I think that's where Hamnick's been playing. It's just the PK. He hasn't been on the PP or anything. But the PK and top 4 minutes for Michael Stone. That's why it's good to have a guy like Michael Stone, because he's a veteran, and he's still half decent. Like, he's not a good defenseman. He's like a good 6-7 defenseman, but he can still come in and play penalty kill minutes and play, top 4 minutes if he has to. On 5-on-5, we got him in bottom 6 minutes, but in other situations he can come in and play. Here's Dan Hamhuis going on waivers. Nationals play. I'm just thinking here. Just quickly look at Dan Hamhuis. Excuse me. 78 overall, top 6. No, we don't need any extra defensemen. I was just thinking if he was, and he's only on a one-way at 1.25. So I was probably going to say if we claimed him, we'd probably send him to the American League to kind of help our American team. But he's only on a one-way contract, so we would have to probably have to put him on waivers, and then what would be the point of that? Because he'd be back on waivers, and another team could claim him. So we won't worry about Dan Hamhuis. We do need some help down there in the AHL, but if we get a guy on a two-way contract, or somebody that could be in the American League. I think actually Hamhuis was in the American League, though. That's the thing. Shoot, we probably should have claimed him. Oh well. I'm just thinking he was on the American League team for whatever, Nashville, I believe, is what he plays for. Whatever, we'll just not worry about it. No, I want to leave these lines the same, actually. Oh, I was going in there to switch Riddick back in. That's what I was doing. Ay. All right. Goalies. Riddick is back in. Okay. Like I said, just want to make sure here before I start every game, because that auto rotation is screwing things up. So let's simulate this game against the Hurricanes. So we should be without Hamnick for about 3 games here. That's what it looks like. First period against the Canes. We need to start winning games here. We get one from Quine. They get one from Stahl. Second period, they get one. Oops, I accidentally hit third period as well, and they win 2-1. Not good. Offense goes a little quiet in this one. We can't just accept 1 goal. Our top line is actually quiet. Briggs back to a good night, by the way, 926. But our top line's been quiet the last few games after going off to a really hot start. And now Zagadulin's been injured. Okay, so we'll edit lines manually here. So it looks like Tyler Parsons will be getting the bulk of the starts here going forward. So we don't have to worry about that. I didn't see when Zagadulin's coming back, but we'll put Schneider in there as a backup to Tyler Parsons. But hopefully Zagadulin does come back. And Schneider will get a few games, but hopefully mostly Parsons gets the games. So just looking here, another player injured down there in Stockton. Okay, I'm just nothing major here. I'm just gonna fill a spot with somebody, but this is taking up time that I do not want to do. Let's put in. Sure, this is the best rated player. We'll put him in all of the lines there. Yeah, you can see the Oilers have slightly pulled away from us now. 50 points. We're down at 44. They're 6 points clear of us. We do have a game in hand, sorry, but you can see our record has just not been good this month here in December. We are struggling a little bit, and even Gaudreau struggling a little bit. He's already sitting at 25 goals and 39 points, but he was on pace for much more than that. As you can see, his games are trying to catch up to his points. But there's nothing we can do right now. We're in a bit of a slump. We're playing inconsistent right now here in the month of December. It's a stretch of games, which you can't do too much about it. We're tweaking our lines slightly and our goaltending, but we can't do too much about it. There's Johnny Gaudreau, by the way, and Malkin. But let's just hope we can start pulling out some points here and catching back up with the Edmonton Oilers. So another 2 goals there split. Malkin gets his second. Bennett, come on, third period. Yes, 2 big goals there. Monahan and Quine. It's huge, 2 huge points. Excuse me. I just want to look at how Riddick did in this one. For us, and good, 9-4-4, back-to-back good games there for David Riddick. Monahan and Gaudreau also scoring, so our top line responding a little bit there. Now Mark Jankowski has been injured, so we did go a long stretch there without any injuries. Obviously in episode 1 we talked about the injuries and how we put the gameplay sliders down to 15, so these injuries aren't happening as frequent. But this is probably a good amount of injuries. We've only had Elias Lindholm and Mark Giordano in episode 1 that was injured, and now we've had Travis Hamonic and Mark Jankowski in the NHL level that have been injured. So that's about right. So obviously we will replace Jankowski with Zarnik. Pretty easy fix here, as it's a 4th line center going in for a 4th line center. But yeah, we'll just continue on here. I believe Riddick will stay in net, hopefully. Hamonic is able to come back now. So again, just quickly here. The one thing about injuries is they just take up so much time. That time that I just don't want to, deal with here, because I want to get simming done. So, okay, we'll put Hamonic back in there to the spot. Back with Hanifin, Anderson, and Valimaki back together. I'm not even going to look at the goaltending. I'm hoping Riddick's in. Okay, Montreal. First period, we get 4, they get 2. Bennett. Milan Lucia, is that his first? And Johnny Gaudreau. Brendan Gallagher scores twice for them. Second period, nothing. Do we hang on in the third? We do. Wow, what a period. 2 goals for Elias. 3 goals for Elias. It's a third period hat trick for Elias Lindholm. Paul Byron, the former Flame, scoring the only goal for the Montreal Canadiens, but then Michael Backlund and Johnny Gaudreau also popping in goals. That's our first 9 spot of the season. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that's the most goals we put up in a single game this season. But yeah, good to see there. So whenever you have a big game like this, I just like to look at the points. Again, Sean Monahan, no goals, but 5 massive assists. That's 5 huge points for Monahan. 4 big points as well for Matthew Tkachuk. So 2 guys that we really want to make sure are going. Elias Lindholm with that third period hat trick. That's also what you want to see. Johnny Gaudreau obviously finds a way to get in on the score sheet as well. 3 points for him in this one. 2 points for Zarnik, who comes in for Jankowski. 2 points for Gio, Hamonic, and onward Bennett with 2 points as well. And 8-6-4. So obviously quiet storyline of this one. Is not as good of a night for David Riddick. Obviously not a good night for Carey Price or whoever was in net for them. But not as good of a night for David Riddick either. So I'll be okay if they put either Talbot in or keep Riddick in for this Dallas game. The other one will get the mini game. But it wasn't a very good night for Riddick. But at the same time, if you want to give him Dallas and then give Talbot Minnesota, I'm okay with either. So I'll just let the computer do whatever they want here. But we're coming off a 9-3 win over the Montreal Canadiens. And I believe that's back-to-back wins. So we're starting to string some wins together. We just need to continue to do that. First period in the big D, nothing. Second period, they get 3, we get 2. Monahan and Tkachuk once again scoring. We have to tie this up in the third period. Come on, Flames. Oh my God, it's these games that are killing us. So they did have Talbot, I believe, in net in this one. I just want to look here. Yeah, Talbot did go net for this one after Riddick's Was a slightly poor performance there in that 9-3 win over Montreal, but Riddick will go back in net for the Minnesota game here. But yeah, we got to find a way to win these games, like these close games when we have a chance in the third period to pull or to tie it up and come back. Not a good night for Bennett and Gio. And Riddick did come in for the last 10 minutes, made 3 saves. He will find the goal again or find the back of find the net for us against Minnesota. I might end this episode here after this month, and then we kind of reevaluate what we have here. It's been a slightly inconsistent episode here, and maybe we'll find ways that we can fix this. So, yeah, let's finish this month here. We'll end the episode, and we'll start episode 3 in the new year. So, just quickly here, let's sim up to this mini game. Back-to-back nights. Obviously, Riddick should get the net back. I am struggling today. I apologize. Goaltending. Yeah, let's get Riddick back in there. And we can't do too much because Jankowski is still injured. So, in terms of offensive lines, it's back-to-back nights. Would have liked to get Janko back out there, but he is injured. So, first period here in mini. Oh my God, 3 goals for them: Zutker, Zuccarello, and Foligno. Please, Calgary, respond here in the second. Unbelievable. Anything in the third? Anything? We do get 2, but we can't let like when we're scoring 2, we can't give up another 2 because that defeats the whole purpose. So Zarnik and Backlund scoring, but yeah, it's been a bit of a shaky month of December for sure. This might be our worst month by far because October is really good. I thought November was pretty good too. There were some up and downs, but December has been shaky. Monahan -2, yeah, the top line struggling for us in this one. Again, another one where Talbot. Well, no, we started Riddick, so Riddick only played 7 minutes 39 seconds, so it could possibly be another in-game injury for David Riddick. Again, I hate these little in-game injuries if that's what they are, because there's no other reason they would be switching the goalies mid-game like that. That's weird. I don't know. Don't know what to say. So we do have 3 more games that quickly to get through till the end of this episode. We do have our first Battle of Alberta this season. We have not played the Oilers once yet this season, and they happen to be the 2 top teams in the division here in the Pacific. So we do sit at 48 points. They sit at 54 points, so they do have a bit of a cushion on us. Obviously, this would be a massive game. We do have that game in hand, but this would be a massive game to start closing that gap a little bit. Because it looks like the Oilers are the team we're going to be fighting with so far this season for top spot in our division. And obviously, other than just pride alone, in general, you just don't want to give up top spot in the division to any team, but especially the Edmonton. Back-to-back 5-2 losses. Goaltending. We'll stick with Riddick because I don't know what to do. I'm going to reevaluate the goaltending, the numbers after the end of this episode, and then see where we should go starting episode 3. But you know what? Let's just finish off these 3 games. Hopefully, we can at least win 2 of them. If we can take 2 out of, we can grab 5 out of a possible 6 points, or even 4 out of a possible 6 points. I'll be happy. 4 huge goals for us here in this one. Rasmus Elias scores twice. TJ after 1 period. Oh my God, they catch up though in the second. Goals from McDavid and Puljujärvi. Puljujärvi should not be playing. He decided to go play in Europe. Come on, hang on for the 3rd period, please, Calgary. We need these 2 points over Edmonton. We cannot give them a single point. Oh my! Okay, we hang on. I was like, I thought I saw Connor McDavid, and okay. Mangiapane scores a massive, absolutely, probably the biggest goal so far of our season, and it's early, and it's just regular season. Andrew Mangiapane ensures with his goal that Edmonton does not get a point out of this one, and we do, in fact, get the 2 points of them. So we do help close that gap just a little bit, but it's better than being however many points back we were of them. Again, Riddick struggling a little bit there with an 8.62. So, like I said, I will look at goaltending after this episode. And make a decision. Like I said in episode 1, maybe Riddick and Talbot are not the answer. Maybe Riddick is, maybe Talbot is, or maybe neither of them are. Like maybe we have to go find other goaltending out there. But I wanted to give Riddick that chance this season to at least fight for the starting spot. So Let's just get these games against Vancouver and then Chicago out of the way, and then we'll end this episode here. 1-0 off of the goal by Milan Lucic, the Vancouver native. Second period, they get one from Pettersson. Brody also scores. Third period, do we hang on? Yes, we do. Sean Monahan scores. So that's a huge one there. Better night there for Riddick, I believe. Monahan scoring, and Lucci, and yes, 9-7-0 for... Is that Talbot or Riddick? I think that was Riddick. I don't know. I went through it so fast. Doesn't matter. I'm going to reevaluate it after this game. Anyway, so we've picked up a couple wins here. Let's finish. Just finish the year of 2019 off on the right foot. So we got the New Year's Eve game here, the New Year's Eve Classic. It's now become Chicago. After so many years, it was Edmonton, and now we have the Chicago Blackhawks for what I believe is a second straight year against Chicago, or is it a second in 3 years? I can't remember. I know we played Chicago not long ago on New Year's Eve at the Dome. But let's try and finish 2019 off on the right foot before we start the new year. Calgary scores 3. Lindholm, Backlund, and Brody. They get one from Brendan Perlini. 3-1. Second period, we add another 2. Zarnik and Kachuk. And can we add in the third? They get 2 to pull close. But we do get the win in this one. So we finished 2019 off on the right foot. 3 straight wins to finish off the year. And that is what you like to see. And hopefully we closed a little bit of ground on Edmonton now. 8-8-9 for David Regg. Not a good night. Well, slightly good, but not as good as he should be playing. So we definitely are going to have to evaluate the goaltending. And yes, we have. So we used our game in hand, but we also have, in fact, won the last 3, including that huge game against Edmonton themselves. So we have pulled just 2 points back of the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, Anaheim and Vegas has done some winning as well, so they're only 4 points back of us. But it's good to, and Anaheim actually has, 2 games at hand on us. But it is good to pull closer to Edmonton, so we're staying in the fight in the Pacific. That's what you want to see. Obviously, we still want to be above Edmonton, but we'll work on that. And we obviously, our division's way better than the Central. And then Boston is pulled ahead. I believe they lead the NHL in points now with 60. And where's Ottawa now? They're back at 54, so they're tied with us as well. And Washington atop their division. So we will end this episode here. I'm going to reevaluate our goaltending, and in the next episode we'll do a lot more simming and see maybe where we have to go in terms of goaltending. Do we maybe possibly start looking at the trading block? That is an option for us. We'll look at all of our numbers. We'll look at our numbers for our players as well, see how they're doing and how our team is doing in terms of power play, PK. So maybe we have to edit some things on special teams. But we will end this episode here, episode 2, and we'll pick up episode 3 in the new year, 2020.